Got my beer. Got my bourbon. Line up my microphone just right. Everyone's got their headsets on.
Yeah. Ready to roll.
Ready to go.
We've got
Is this our third week in a row?
I think
It
so.
is.
We've got two chairs that are empty for special guests that aren't here today.
Well, we haven't done a good job of lining up. There are some people who are interested, but we haven't done a good job kind of making sure they're ready a week in advance and all that. But we'll do better.
Whatever. Whatever. It's dudes like us. It's September 12th. Good Lord.
I know, the
Just
day after a
freaking
big
falling
day.
Weather's starting to get a little bit more tame.
Starting to break a little bit, but I'm sure it'll get up to 100 at some point again.
I don't know. I'm
Appreciate
looking at
the,
the forecast, and it looks great.
The participation from our producer showing up here on Tuesdays. Thank you, producer Austin. Dudes like us, I'm Sean.
I'm Paul.
And I am Jeff.
And yes, it is the day after September 11th.
Yeah, very somber news in the mornings for yesterday. You know, it just, you know, what was it, 20-something years ago?
Yeah.
22 years.
22 years ago. And, you know, in you know, the big argument, I'm not going to start this podcast off with slamming Joe Biden, but it's just, you know.
Oh, him not going to New York City?
Yeah, well, Camel Harris was there.
Either he needs to be at one of the three.
Yeah, he was in Alaska.
Well, he was on his way back from Vietnam.
Whatever. You know what?
Come on.
He's know. Whatever.
No, I think as a commander-in-chief, as the president of this country, for these type of things, you should
important.
be there.
Yeah.
Now, the White House's take on it was, and I don't know if it's a good take, is, 22 years after Pearl Harbor, presidents didn't go out there.
That was a really shitty comment.
Yeah, I was like, well, first of all, how did they know that?
Right.
Fact check that, please. You know?
Yeah, right.
It's just like, come on, that's.
No, it doesn't make it right either.
Yeah.
But
No.
you know what?
Two
But
rights
you know
don't
what
make
it
a wrong.
The Pentagon is right down the street from his house.
Right. So, but what it caused was people saying, you know, this is what we were scared of, that, you know, the country's forgetting. I mean, even our president's not going to New York City. You know, the country's forgetting. Did you guys think what is your take? Has the country forgotten?
I think I was listening to some of the radio yesterday, some of the talk radio, and it's not even taught in some history classes in school these days.
Right.
So, yes, the younger, our generation, no.
Because we were there. We woke up that morning.
Yeah.
And
I don't think our kids will forget it. Stephen was not born yet, but he lived in this house, so he was fully aware of what happened. We'd watch the commemorative stuff at the 5-year, the 10-year, so he's
good for
fully
you.
aware, right?
Good for
So
you.
he knows what happened.
I don't think we were as diligent with our kids about, you know, making sure that they absorbed the gravity of that day.
Yeah, we did. And Brandon was 2, so he's 2. So he when you ask him, he'll probably say he remembers it, but he doesn't. So, but again, we watched this stuff, the news, and we talked about it.
You know, if it doesn't impact them, it's gotta have an impact when it happens. So it's fresh for us. It's fresh for all the adults. But for the kids, I get it. It's just to them, it's probably just like anything in the history books. It's just part of history.
Pearl Harbor was how far removed from us. We're fully aware of it and the impact it made.
Yep.
When we were born and we were kids.
Well, they taught that in high school, or they taught that in school.
That's what I mean.
You know, it brings up a whole litany of issues we have with the educational programs that we have in school, and some of the preferential syllabus or some of the preferential topics they want to talk about. They prefer to talk about, you know, butt sex and the proper way to give blowjobs, and you know, and it's like, it's disgusting. I just like, come on, man. You know, teach school. That's what it's for. It's for arithmetic. It's for English. It's for reading. It's for history. It's to learn about, you know, don't repeat our mistakes in the past. And they're not doing that right now. We're just part of the system. I feel like there's some sort of cabal that's leading our children down the path of failure.
There are good teachers out there.
I don't think it's them. It's not the teachers themselves.
Right.
Some are.
It's the curriculum.
Some of the teachers are pushing it, but I think hopefully it's a minority, right? Because you see it. on TikToks
it starts
and all
at
that
the top,
stuff, right?
It starts
But
at
it's
the
the
top.
administration. It's the Department of Education.
It's the even the DOJ putting out that that hit on American parents. You know,
Correct.
that calling us domestic terrorists because we disagree with the curriculum that they're teaching in school. That one dude was just pardoned by the governor. I forget what governor it was and what state it was,
It was
but
Virginia.
in Virginia, because
Governor,
he had
Youngkin,
his
yes.
daughter was sexually assaulted in a bathroom by some dude that
And
was
they were covering it up.
identifying as a female, and it's just like, dude, I don't care if you identify as a female, but first of all, you shouldn't be allowed in the bathrooms. You know, you should go. If you want to be a trans or something like that, and they don't have your specific bathroom, there should be some sort of place for you to go to make you feel comfortable, and that would be the nurse's office.
There you go.
That's what I feel. Hey, look, why should we send the little girls to the nurse's office?
know, I
Because
get it.
they're afraid to go to the restroom because there's going to be some dude in there dressed up like a girl.
That was a meltdown, though. They covered it up, and then they moved him to another school, and
He
there was
did it
another
again.
And he did it
assault.
again.
I know, it's crazy.
But
But didn't the superintendent got fired? Right?
it doesn't matter.
I know.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, it's not enough. Whatever
there
it was,
is-
it wasn't enough.
There is some sort of cabal, and I keep saying that, and it sounds stupid, me even saying that out loud. How could there be a cabal in 2023? Are you
there
kidding
easily
me?
can be.
But it's just like, well, it's coming from the top. All right, somebody is saying it's okay to do that. If our own Department of Justice is putting a hit on our parents, that's the very top. How is that possible? That
that
they
letter
can do that.
that letter came from the teachers union, right?
Right. It was from the teachers union to the White House
Yes.
to
To
say,
the White House,
and we need your help.
and the White House agreed,
And
or
they-
at least the Justice Department did. And
Well, no, the White House put pressure on the Justice Department to take care of these parents.
Merrick Garland, right,
Right.
the Attorney General, and they started investigating and
Insane.
all that bullshit.
I know. It's crazy.
And he denies it to this day.
Oh, of course he does. Yeah, I was talking to the basketball buddies this morning.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know how we got on this conversation, but I know how. So he's a young dude, and he he's married and he has little kids, and he goes, "Don't you live in this subdivision over here?" Blah blah. I was like, "Yeah, I do." Well, you guys moving in? Did you buy a house? And he goes, "Oh no, we can't afford to buy. We're just renting." Right? And I go, "Man, I feel bad for your generation, like young couples and young families that can't afford homes, right? Everything's so expensive, they have no choice but to rent, right?" And then we got into this conversation where R.F. Kennedy Jr. Was apparently interviewing. He had an interview where he was talking about how Blackwater, Vanguard, and God, I can't remember the third one, but they
buy up all the houses.
they're buying up all the houses, and they have a plan that within 6 years they're going to be in control of over 60% of the nations, through shell companies and shadow companies and stuff like that, right? And then you got to think, what is their end game there, right? If you're thinking cabal and you're thinking, big conspiracy type of shit, right? Well, we try not to get crazy, but so their end game could be they want people renting for life. Because think about it, what is home ownership? What does property ownership instill?
Wealth.
Individualism,
Individual wealth.
Individualism, right? And they don't want individualism. Individualism is bad for what they want.
They
for
want
the
to
future.
strip mine the middle class.
I mean, but
support
they
the rich.
want the socialists. They want the communist type of, you're just a number. Get along with the program. The government controls this. The government
Correct.
controls that. They don't want you to have individual rights. They don't want you to have individualism. That's why they're tearing apart the family. The family is very much individual,
Right.
right?
Well, I've heard that the Black Rocks and the Vanguards and I don't know if Zillow was part of that or not.
Crazy.
Where these corporations are buying like whole neighborhoods.
Right. And
Whole
this is-
neighborhoods.
and this is a Democrat
And they
that
can
brought
set
this
the
up.
price.
This was R.F. Kennedy Jr.
Yeah, and they can set the price for whatever the hell they want.
That's right. And
Or-
they're driving up the prices so that people can't own.
You can buy it at this, or you could rent it at this.
Right.
Well,
Right.
rent is more than my damn mortgage, though.
Yeah, I know that doesn't make sense.
I think the problem is the down payment, maybe.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
these rents,
Well,
I
right
could
now,
charge.
interest
I could rent
rates
my
are through the roof, right?
well that I could rent my house more than what my mortgage is. Well, like almost double.
People rent apartments, 2-bedroom apartments, for more than what my mortgage is.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it's not more than what the mortgage and the taxes are, the real estate taxes, but it's more than the mortgage. I mean, I would need to do the math. I can't remember if it might be as much.
Well, mine including taxes and everything, I could get more renting.
Yeah.
Someone would pay more renting my house.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, I get it. Some people don't have the credit, right? They can't buy a home because they can't qualify for the loan. And I get that situation. But for people who can qualify for the loan, but it's, it's just, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Well, put it
it's cuckoo.
Well, here's another thing. You have to live where you can afford.
Right.
And
right. Some people don't want to live 30 miles north.
Right. Well, you may have to.
You may have to.
The gentleman works for me, put his house up for sale Saturday, and that same day he had a more than asking offer.
Sight unseen.
Well, I guess they showed up.
Oh, wow. I mean, do you remember when it was crazy hot? Like a year ago? Or I don't remember how.
The same day.
Well, there were people making a higher than.
Oh, yes.
And they had never seen it.
Right.
They didn't even look at. I mean, I guess online they looked at pictures, but
right.
Unbelievable.
So he's like, all right, well, that happened a lot faster than I expected.
Same day?
Same day. More than asked.
What do you expect, 2 days?
Well, then they're doing a zero-cost lease back, so they'll be able to live there till the end of October.
Right.
Right, because they're actually going to be moving out of state. And
so hold on. So this is in Texas?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
On the other side of Fort Worth.
Fort Worth, okay.
And he's out, not in the country, but
right on the edge.
Right on the edge. And he's got like half an acre or something like that.
Oh, nice.
They painted. They've worked on it for the last month. Painted it, cleared it, declared it, which you're supposed to do.
Make it presentable.
So,
and they probably didn't even need to do that.
Yeah, so they paid the realtor. Take all the pictures, posted it, open house, whatever.
I wonder if they should just for sale by owner. You save like so much money by not using a realtor.
Oh no,
$4,000 to $10,000.
I know, and that's a racket.
It's 3% to 6%.
And they did what? Did what to sell that house? Nothing.
For a day.
That's crazy. That's it. That's got to be the easiest money ever.
Right. So anyway, the market is still fairly hot here locally. The house across the street from me sold in a couple weeks.
Wow.
For a shit ton of money.
God, I remember.
Well, there's a house on the corner of my street that hasn't sold yet.
How long has it been on the market? Do you know?
It's a couple months.
A couple months, yeah.
My house, man.
He's asking for $100,000 more than its appraisal value.
I think location hurts that. I wouldn't want that house.
I remember when I sold my first house to move into the house I'm in now, it was on the market for 6 months. And we had to double more, like double pay.
Right.
For like 2. I mean, imagine that.
No, our first house sold in a couple weeks.
God,
it sold fast.
6 months is how long it took our house to sell.
Yeah, we put it up in like April, and we were out of there by the 1st of May.
Unbelievable.
Into an apartment while this house was being built.
And it wasn't the house. It was the market. Market at the time. It was like 2018? I mean, was that? No. Oh, no. That can't be right.
That's when you moved into that house?
No. I moved into the house, the new house, in 2002. I don't know what the hell I'm thinking. So, yeah. So, it was 2001, right?
So, we moved in here 2003. And that was
brutal.
Well, we moved in. So, obviously, the market turned around because our house sold really fast.
Right.
And we made some good money off of it. Allowed us to put that big chunk of down payment down.
Oh, yeah. We didn't make that much. Because, I mean, because like I said, 6 months. So.
Right.
Well, dudes like us have to go through stuff like that.
I
lived in Irving, Texas, bought my first house, and we went shopping. Tara was like, my wife was like, let's go to the Frisco Independent School District. It's got the best ratings for school to raise our kids. So we're like, all right, cool. We go to buy a house, and we ended up buying a house before we sold the other one. Because I was thinking, it's going to sell. I'm not worried about it. Didn't sell. So we ended up leasing it out. And we had a treacherous time, one tenant after the other. I would think we went through 4 or 5, and
where they were like tearing up stuff.
Single one was a dud. Just didn't pay, and One
so how's that work? And you never got money? You never got your money?
Some of them, there was one was a family member and whatever, and the other one was, and we lost, like 4 months of rent. And then the next one was some lady, and she had 3-4 kids, and it was single, and she did well, and she was all great, super happy, super nice. Paid the first month's rent and the last month's rent.
Right, you guys were excited after the
I was
nightmare
like, oh,
that
great.
you had.
And then she paid like another one, and that was it.
And then she said, "Sorry, I can't afford it now."
Well, she just stopped paying.
You just
and
infect
then
her ass?
Yeah, but
we ended up.
How does that work? Did you call her and say, "Excuse me"?
Yeah. Well, I had to stop by the house, and eventually we got some legal paperwork processed, and she ended up leaving, and the power was turned off, the water was turned off. And I was just like, fuck, man. So I had the water turned on and the power turned back on, and she had not turned off the washer and dryer water lines. So when the city came by, we don't live there, so when the city came by, turned the water back on.
Oh, no.
The water was
spewed.
It destroyed the house.
Oh.
So,
because she took her washer dryer.
Correct.
And the water was already turned off, so she's like,
I don't know.
It probably wasn't deliberate. I mean, she just
it doesn't matter. The
shit
fact of
and
the matter is it happened, and we ended up I forget exactly what we did, but we ended up selling the house what they call a short sale, which is you just have someone take over the payments. And you sign over.
You don't make
you
a
just
penny.
lose. You just lose your equity. Basically,
you lose your equity. You just say, just take it. Just take the bananas.
Right.
The bananas.
Yeah, remember that from what is it? Eddie Murphy, Beverly Hills Cop. He goes to the hotel and he was gonna I'm gonna do the old banana in the tailpipe thing.
Oh yeah.
And the guy was at the buffet. He was like, "How much for the banana?" He said, "Just take the bananas."
I miss old Eddie Murphy.
I
He
heard
was
they were
awesome.
making another one of those, Beverly Hills Cop.
They are making another one?
I heard they were thinking about it.
It's tough to some of these stars. First of all, I really enjoy Eddie Murphy. It's even the older like Steve Martin and just actually it's most of the SNL crew from back in the time.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just anytime one of these guys come out, I don't enjoy their movie like I used to. It's just it's.
You mean
the
like
same
the
humor.
original movie or the newer movies
just
that they come
the
out
actors themselves.
Oh,
they're,
gotcha.
They're the same thing. Like Robin Williams. He had the same character no matter what he fucking did.
Right.
But actually, he came out with some really good movies, so I can't really throw stones.
Yeah,
at
he
him. But
did. He did. He showed
some good drama
But
movies.
he
Like
showed
Steve
some.
Martin?
What's the word? Breadth.
Yes.
Of his acting. He did. He
Yeah.
had different roles and some
But
series.
you have some that darn like Steve Martin. He was the same thing all the time, and it's
Chevy
just
Chase. I don't
Yeah,
know if his humor really carries into today.
it's just
well, his
just different.
Doritos commercial was pretty
A Doritos commercial.
Which one was that?
during the Super Bowl.
Will Ferrell
I mean,
is
it was
the only
really
one.
well done. His acting was fantastic.
The Will Ferrell one is the only one that I could continue to watch Will Ferrell movies because he's just a fucking nut.
There are some people
Well, he
that
has a new
can't
one out.
stand him. Like, can't stand him.
Well, he's starting to jump the shark a little bit. Like he had a couple movies out with Mark
Wahlberg?
Mark Wahlberg, the stepdad or something like that.
No, not
No, not
stepdad.
Father-in-law or what is it called?
They were cops, weren't they?
No,
well,
no,
that
it's-
one too. But
It's where they're both. Will Ferrell is the stepdad,
yeah,
and Mark Wahlberg is
Is like the biker.
is the real
stuff.
guy.
Yeah,
Yes, and he's like super cool. And
Right. Yep, I remember that. Yep.
What is the name of that? Why can't we think of
the
it?
stepdad succession.
No, it's and he's such a wuss. Will Ferrell is such a he doesn't know how to do anything, and Mark Wahlberg just totally dogs him. They made 2 movies out of it.
Daddy's Home.
Daddy's Home and Daddy's Home 2. There you go. That's it. Oh yeah, and he's on the bike. Mark Wahlberg is funny.
A lot of his characters are the same.
Mark
Yeah,
Wahlberg.
that's true.
No,
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I like the one where he was he had a stepbrother. Stepbrothers, I think that was the name of it. And it was like 2 retarded.
Where they smashed their balls over his drum set.
Ah.
I mean, some of the stuff is just hilarious.
his
Don't
scrot-
touch my drum set. And he's all
scrotum.
But he had some good movies. I mean, Talladega Nights was got to be one of the best.
I didn't care for it.
The Ballad
you
of Ricky
serious?
Bobby.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, I thought it was great.
They had
watched it. I
a
didn't care
bunch
for
of
it.
one-liners in there. See if we can do a little preview of that. I don't know if we're able
Especially
to.
my favorite scene
The
from that
dinner.
movie is
Guess how fast we're going now?
I don't care. I'm having a baby. You just passed the hospital.
Ricky Bobby was born
Mama, I'm going fast.
to become the fastest man alive.
All right, so that kind of brings up.
Jesus.
Go ahead, Phil.
that right there is the funniest scene in the movie. in my
Oh, well, they're
opinion.
at the dinner table.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna come at you like a spider monkey.
Yeah.
The kids are so
But
disrespectful.
You know what's cool? What we just heard right there. It was the narration of it. It was a trailer in the narration. I mean, I don't see those anymore.
No.
They're very rare. And I'll tell you, and I know they may have in the movie theater, but I don't even go to the movies that much more. But
I know.
as
Well,
a
they
kid,
make-
do you remember?
Oh yeah, the voice. The
Going
previews
to
were a
the
big
matinees
thing.
as a
Oh,
kid
yes.
and seeing all the movies growing up, and that was like, the Herbie Goes Bananas, and it's like all this weird shit.
Nowadays they
The
show,
voices.
I try not to look because they show the whole damn movie in the previews. I mean,
Some of
I guess
them.
that's been an argument that we've made forever. But
Right.
if
But
it's a
I don't
movie I
think-
want to watch,
I don't think they do the voiceovers anymore, do they?
oh, the voiceovers. Yeah, no, I
They
guess
just
not.
show snippets and thematic music,
Right.
right? I don't think they have like that guy, the voiceover.
No, that's a good point. They don't do the voiceovers. That would be effective. They should go back to that.
Yeah, it was just one guy that did all those.
Oh, and then he died, and then that was it.
Could be.
There was no other guy that could do it.
That was the movie phone guy.
It was-
Right.
If
Just-
the name of the movie
Remember
you'd
the
like to
movie
see,
phone?
press 1.
Just like the Survivor guy, right?
Real man of Jesus.
Right. But he hasn't died. But when he stopped doing it, that was it.
that movie phone thing was such a pain in the ass.
Oh my God.
Movie phone.
Oh,
If you know
it
the
was
name of the
terrible.
movie you'd like to see, press 3. To
I
get a
just-
list of them.
I'm just pulling the newspaper out. Sorry, bud. It was too much. It was too much.
Hold on. Walk me through this. What
was
was
movie
this?
Did you ever
times
call the
on the
movie
phone.
guy thing?
It was movie times.
Oh, yes.
So you had to put in there which theater
Type
you
in
wanted
the
to go
zip
to.
code for the area you want your movie to
It
go.
was
That-
it was a beating.
That is a generational thing that they will not understand.
No.
We
And
had
if you
tou-
know
yeah,
the name
touch-
of the movie theater you'd like to go, press 1.
Yes, it was. Yes, everything was touch tone phone.
If you have a gay friend that sits to your left, press 2.
That totally was. I mean, but that's still there, right? I mean, there's still touch tone stuff.
Movie phone.
If you want it in English, press 1. If you want it in Spanish, press 2. I mean, in Espanol, press 2.
Well,
I mean, you know what I mean? So, I mean, they still have touch tone, press
2.
But that was everything for us.
It was, and you had to spell things out with the letters, and they call those T9.
Oh, God.
Like when texting first came out, it was all the T9 stuff. So you're like, I need the letter C. 2222.
Yeah. But you know what? Even the younger generation that got those phones originally,
They were fast.
oh my God, they mastered that.
It was like,
Yeah, I was like going, okay, hold on. It's the second one is the third one. Okay, hold on. 1, 2. Ah, fuck, that's the wrong one. I mean, you know what I mean? But they were like,
yeah,
I mean, it was amazing.
yes.
I think it's just young brains, man. They just do better than old brains.
No, I just think they do it more.
Well, let's chat about this Stagg Bourbon. It's 133 proof, and Stagg. Is it Stagg?
Stag.
Dang.
Stagg. And
used to be
it's not a
called-
bourbon; it's a whiskey because it's 133
No,
proof.
it's
right?
bourbon, I believe.
Remember, it can be, as long as it's barreled.
It has to go
That's
into
right.
the barrel at 125.
It can't be more than 125 when it goes into the barrel.
Oh, so
Right.
124.999999999.
Or
can't-
125.
It can be
Repeating, of course. Repeating, of
I was going to
course.
say, it can be 125. It just can't be 25.000001.
Oh,
But,
the human.
like you guys know, if water evaporates during the aging process, the proof shoots up.
All right, so this is the bourbon. It's Stagg. Mr. Producer, you got some Stagg up on the screen. We could read a little verbiage on there. So let's talk about our first. Pulling it back. It's got a nutty. First of all, it's strong as shit.
I was going to say, let's get back to that because there were very few. We have 2 maybe that are in the 130 range.
This one, and I think Elijah Craig is in the 130 range.
So that is
That and the Rumble.
And the Rumble, I think Elijah Craig in this one.
that's a distinction we should call out because there are very, very few that are this powerful, right? All right, so
I like
Well,
it
that
when
we
they're this
have.
powerful, but it's a very woody.
It's an
It's got a
amazing
very
nose.
bitter, woody taste. And when I say that, I don't mean that's necessarily a bad thing. So look, folks, this bourbon is not for the weak. All right, you have to be
it packs some power.
a seasoned bourbon taster. I mean, not just for the punch you're about to receive, but you got to be able to power through that punch and pull out those flavors. And I think it's great.
It's really
It is.
rich.
I
really
do.
good.
It's rich. It's good. I don't think as octane, much octane as it is. It's we have others that are much hotter feeling.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes. Good point. That's a great point. Because you would think 133 proof, oh my God, it's going to burn, top to bottom. And
I think if
So-
you shot that, I think you'd gag.
Oh yeah.
would
well,
be so
sure.
much.
Let's try it. You guys ready?
Go
no,
for it.
no, I'm not doing that. So what's interesting is I was bringing up we're talking about something about bourbon and high proof bourbon to somebody. I forget who it was, but I told them, they were like, well, which one should I buy? Should I buy the 100 proof or should I buy the single barrel one or the cask strength one? And I'm like, look, it's in my opinion that I don't want to buy 100 proof bourbon or lower
It
because
used to be 90.
I know.
or
It's just
90.
creeping up and up and up.
I know.
What's happening here?
Well, my point is, I don't want to buy that bourbon because why do I want to pay somebody to water down good bourbon? I would rather have the cask strength, the barrel proof, right out of the barrel. Just give me what came out of the barrel. I'll pay for that. And if I want to add water to dumb it down to 100 proof, that's on me.
All right, so here's the thing. We're at that point. But
Yes.
the vast majority of people
Correct.
are not there. And that's why when we go to Total Wine or any other liquor store, 90%, I don't know, what percent would you put
We
it at?
we don't buy much anymore.
No, we don't. But what percentage of the bourbons that are on the shelf are 90 or less?
Most.
I
90.
mean 90%.
Probably.
Gotta be.
I think I'm right there with you, Sean. At this point in our bourbon career experience,
We prefer.
we're not going to invest in 80, 90. I'll still look at some hundreds, depending on what it is. But
But we're looking for that single barrel cask strength.
yeah, I think I agree with kind of what he's talking
I agree
about.
too.
Yeah.
I agree too.
I mean, really, if you're going to have it, just get the full one, get the full-bodied, perfect one that comes out. And then, because this one actually would taste good with the cube. And if you
Oh,
pop
yeah.
a cube in there,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
going to dumb it down to 110.
It's
Period.
certainly going to make it not pack a punch. But here's the problem. So when I talk to others about how many bourbons we have and all this kind of stuff, and what's your favorite? That's always what they ask. What's your favorite? And then
Right.
I hesitate because I'm like, okay, do you like bourbon? Yeah, we like bourbon. All right, do you drink it? How do you drink it? Do you drink it? You mix it? Do you put it on a cube? Do you drink it straight?
Can you take high proof stuff?
Right. And they're like, well, normally we drink, whatever 80, 90 proof. And I was like, and I'm like, that's great. Now, when you go to the higher stuff,
Pussy.
yeah, I mean, and your husband allows that,
And your husband is a male, right?
right? So I mean, but
Identifying as a husband.
the problem is that that's the majority. The majority of people. Here's the thing. Those bourbons taste great.
They do.
Yeah.
Until you know better.
It's kind of like vanilla ice cream from Walmart. I mean, you can
I
go
don't
buy.
know. I don't know, guys. I mean, it's about
Ben and
enjoying your
Jerry's.
bourbon. It's about enjoying your bourbon.
Yeah.
So could you sit down with a Glencairn of 80 proof
Absolutely.
wild turkey?
Absolutely.
No.
No.
I don't think you could enjoy it.
You really?
You would drink it to drink it.
It'd be like tea.
Yes.
It would be. I
But
mean,
it would be hard tea though.
and would be like, what is going on? I'm ready for another one. You'd have to
I
fill
don't
up
know.
a glass of iced tea with that.
Because we say this, the next one we're going to have is a little bit lower proof, and we'll see what we think of it.
Right, like a 2 week.
Oh yeah, we'll have a big gulp.
But you know what? I don't want us to get to a point where we're dismissing what
No.
bourbons mean to people. I don't mean us being snobs and thinking, oh, high proof is
I
all
don't
that,
think
all
we're
that
being
matters.
snobs.
But there are people that want to enjoy a bourbon, and there's nothing wrong with enjoying a 90 proof bourbon.
Well, I think you just got to be prepared for, like, if we came up here, like, I think Eagle Rare is 90 proof.
Oh my God!
95
Dump it.
proof.
We need to dump that.
So, but look, but still, I go back to the same thing. If I'm going to go buy a bourbon, I'm going to go buy the higher proofed ones.
If it's
And
available.
If whatever, it is, yeah. If it's
No, I mean,
available,
Unless it comes in a
of
high
any of them,
recommendation by
period.
someone.
Yeah.
If one of our bourbon guys goes, you need to try this.
well, that's what I'm driving
Boom.
at. So
And it's 100 proof.
someone comes to you and you pose those questions, And they're like, I usually drink like bourbon and soda, bourbon and water. Okay, great. And what proof do you normally get? I usually get this proof. Okay, great. So here's what I would recommend. I would recommend that you get and pick out whatever bourbon you want to make a recommendation to. Let's just say it's 120 proof, and it's a bourbon, but it's going to be too strong for him. You say, I recommend you get that bourbon and
Hmm.
put a couple ice cubes in it and a splash of water, and that'd be perfect for you.
I mean, I guess I could.
That's what my recommendation would be.
Right.
You
In
know,
other words, you're still encouraging them to go higher proof.
Yeah, it's absolutely. And the reasoning would be that, put the control of diluting the bourbon in your own hands. Why
Right,
would you
right,
want
right.
to leave that?
I got
To
you.
the professionals.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like 1845 distillery. Bob was talking about making 100 proof bourbon, and I'm just like my conversation was, I don't think you should.
Right.
I think that from a sales perspective, I think that they would yield a higher profit by dumbing it down to 100 proof. So selfishly, they could probably make 20. They can probably extend their volume of inventory 20% ish by making it 100 proof.
But they do that.
They make 100 proof now.
They make all their stuff's 100 proof
Uh,
unless it's cast strength or single barrel.
He was
It's
talking
all 100
about
proof.
the specific one that was out right now. The last time we were there, the weeded bourbon that came out. He was talking about making that weeded bourbon down to 100 proof.
Well, he was talking also about bottled and bond. And he was talking about labeling and having to call it bottled and bond. And I think bottled and bond is a gimmick.
Well, there's certain rules around it, right?
It's
So-
a gimmick. It's a gimmick now.
So the rules of bottle and
I don't know
bond
if
for
it's
those
a
dudes
gimmick.
like us listeners out there that don't know, Jeff, go.
It's bonded.
It's
Thank
100
you.
proof.
Thank
It's a 100 proof bourbon. Number
Has
one.
to be aged at least 4 years.
Number two, it's got to
It's a
be
bonded-
aged for 4 years.
It's in a bonded rick house, right?
Yep.
So, you
all
know
the
what?
all the product is from the same year and same distillery.
Yeah, bonded rick house just means it's in their rick house. Like whoever's distilling it, it's in their rick house, but they got it to be bonded by the
Correct.
government.
Correct.
And it doesn't really mean anything.
Well, I think it needs to be from one distiller, one season
Right.
is the distinction.
Which is, I think, pretty common. Is what?
I don't think so. I think they blend stuff all the time,
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
unless it's a single barrel.
The liquor must be the product of one distillation season.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. One distiller and one distillery. It must be aged in a federally bonded warehouse under U.S. government supervision for at least 4 years
Yeah, U.S. government
and
supervision. I call
bottled
bullshit on that.
at 100 proof, 50% alcohol by volume.
So literally, a representative shows up and goes, "Okay,
Well,
I'm with the U.S.
well,
government.
you-
I'm going
well,
to
no, what you
make
have to
sure."
remember-
I'm
That's
going to rubber
what-
stamp
What
this.
you have to remember is this is from way back in the Prohibition
Right.
when there was no controls on bourbon and they were selling rot gut.
I totally get it.
And the government says we need to put controls on this because you're not getting what you pay for.
I totally get it. I'm talking about today.
And there's like formaldehyde in it.
Today,
it is
it's not-
kind of a gimmicky thing.
It's gimmicky. That's what I mean.
But there is some, I think there is some usefulness for it because of the same distillate season.
Yeah,
There's some uniqueness
I
to
agree
it
with that.
there.
I agree with that.
There's some uniqueness to it there.
I agree with that.
But all the other stuff,
But this
You're right.
this Stagg stuff,
Let's give it a rating.
it's got a bitter, woody taste to it.
like the
It tastes.
finish.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Like when I'm done with it, and it's got a woody taste. It almost tastes like I've got a wooden stave, like I'm tasting that, like a wood
It's
chip.
stuck in your uvula.
Wow.
It's
You put it where? Where'd you put the stave?
No,
Wait, hold on. I'm still confused about where your old vulva is, or
No.
I
whatever
didn't
you
say
call it.
vulva.
I didn't say.
He stuck it in his vulva. He said.
No, I don't believe I said.
So the nose on this is amazing.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
It's amazing.
it's
All right,
good.
so let's give it a rating. I'm going to go with
7.
7.8.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Damn it.
I think it ranks up there with some of the Elijah Craig barrel proofs.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I agree with that.
I'm thinking that bitter taste brings it to a 7.
I don't have a bitter taste.
I have a little sweetness up front.
Yep, it's definitely sweetness up front.
It's fantastic. The more
It's
I drink
good.
it, the better it gets.
It's good, but the tail end of it, it leaves a residual of like literally like you know what it tastes like? You ever eat a lollipop? Not a lollipop, a popsicle, and you got the wooden stick left, and you're like, and it's in your
You're
mouth,
just, like chewing on it.
and you're just like, you don't give up because you're probably doing something. You're out somewhere.
Splinters in your gum.
No, not necessarily splinters. It's that taste of wood that's in your mouth after you know. That's what this kind of reminds me of.
How old is this?
I don't get it.
Do we know
I
what
don't
the
get
age is on this?
I don't taste that at all. Yeah, bring up the Staggs again. The description of the Staggs.
I want to see how old this is. It may be on the bottle as well. I don't know.
Yeah, he's looking. He's got young eyes, so he should be able to see it. But it looks like he's struggling.
Well, these
over
bottles have ridiculous
I know.
Pico font.
I
or
know.
Pico.
Is this the Stagg Junior?
No.
there. No.
It used to be
You
called
had it
Stagg
up.
Junior.
Go ahead and pull it up again.
The new bottles are just called Stagg. They got away with the Junior.
There it is. All right. So let's see here. Best. It got all sorts of awards. Okay, tasty notes: rich, sweet chocolate, brown sugar flavors mingled with a perfect balance with a bold rye spiciness. Boundless finish lingers with hints of cherries, cloves, and smokiness. All right, smokiness.
Maybe that's the smokiness. That
I
you're
like
thinking of.
smokiness. I like the smokiness.
It doesn't say the age.
It does not.
Is this the Billy Fires and Ice Barber?
I don't think so. Anyway, all right. Well,
It says poured in the
somebody's guessing 9+ years, but this is just a. This is just
something from Reddit.
this is somebody's comment, so I don't know.
someone on Reddit.
Right, I don't know if that has any credibility, but that's all right. All right, so we it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
All right.
recommend it if you can find it. We got lucky.
Yeah. Why is it so hard to find? Do you know? Do you
well,
know
it's
How
why?
much was this
It's
bottle?
Buffalo, $70.
Interesting.
Yeah, this was really hard to find, and we got lucky.
We got lucky. Yeah, walked into Total Wine, and our
Was it
Yeah.
who called you out?
it was Kevin.
Kevin.
He didn't call. I was in there,
You were in there. Kevin was like, "Hey,
and he goes, "Hey,
you want
man,
you want a Stagg?"
follow
a
me.
Stagg?
Follow
So
me.
anyway-
Follow
This
me to
way.
the dark room.
Walk this way."
So anyway, we got lucky and got it, and because I've never seen it on any shelf anywhere.
It's great. Yeah. What is the bottle? It's got like elk antlers.
Yeah,
Show
it's
me
like
the.
well, Stagg is what?
Is it? This is. Is you sure this isn't Stagg Junior?
It is not Stagg.
It's not
Junior.
Stagg Junior. They
So
got
it's
rid of the
it's a
Junior.
rack. It's a rack of antlers.
Correct.
I'm assuming deer. Is it deer? Is it elk? I have no idea.
Well,
Look at
they removed the Junior part. It's just called Stagg now.
Gotcha.
It used to be called Stagg Junior. Now it's called Stagg.
Barrel proof 133. All right.
So each barrel's gonna be different. So ours is 133. The guy who reviewed it, his was 138. So we got shorted.
128. The picture right there.
No, the one,
On the review.
on
On
one
the
of the
review.
reviews.
I got
yeah.
you. I got you.
So we got shorted.
All in all, it's good. Highly recommend. If you see the bottle of the Stagg single barrel, the 133 plus, 130 proof plus, 130 plus proof.
Yeah. Here,
I
let me-
recommend
why
you
don't
highly.
hand me
Someone's
your
getting
glass.
drunk.
I think you might be done. Maybe that's why you're struggling right now.
I had not enough to eat. I guess I don't know.
You had your corn dogs.
You had plenty to eat. Good Lord.
There's a couple more down there you can have.
I don't want any more.
Choke down.
Literally choked down. Those cornbread. So the wife had made some corn muffins, and
Right.
she was like, "You know what? I'm gonna make some corn muffins, and I'm gonna put some wieners in the middle of them.
Oh,
Make them
brat-
like corn dogs.
Bratwurst.
Yeah,
They
bratwurst.
were
Yeah.
apple chicken bratwursts.
Oh, apple.
And you know
okay,
what?
that's not the same thing.
When they were fresh, they were a lot better. They
they're
were
moist.
Yeah, they were moist. But the thing is that you take a bite into one. Since you weren't able, like, the softer hot dogs, you can take a bite out of it. But with these, it's got the lining of the bratwurst. So you made a commitment. Once you take a bite, you literally have to eat the whole fucking thing.
Well, and it lined the roof of your mouth, so it was like.
Well, the cornbread part sucked every ounce of moisture out of the mouth.
Yeah, it did.
And you're
it
just
really
like,
did.
haven't done-
When it was fresh, it wasn't like that.
I mean, what do you expect? You vacuum sealed it. I mean, that's going to pull everything out of it.
compressed it, and then we reheated
Yeah,
it.
I was salvaging the moisture that was in there. It didn't evaporate.
Well, and it
It
was
tasted fine. It was just dry.
I think it was an experiment too, right? You were trying to see if it was going to recover from that.
there's a lot more.
You have like 40 pounds of that stuff.
I've probably got I got like 4 packages of 2. So I'm going to end up giving them to the dog as little treats.
Oh boy, that's a
choke
horrible
on 'em.
idea.
They're gonna put that in there. Gonna choke. He's like, this is dry.
Speaking of dogs, so I'm working in my corner, right? So I work from home.
Oh boy.
Yes, and I'm.
Is there another soft serve story? Because I don't know if I can handle
No,
this.
Eating
no, that was
shit.
awful. That was awful. And I'm just hearing something from the living room. And I'm just like, oh, shit. Let me get up and go see. And there's the puppy on the couch ripping out all the feathers from a cushion.
A sofa cushion?
Yes. No, the cushion that goes on the cushion. I mean, on the sofa. So it wasn't like a sofa cushion, but it was like the, what do you call it, the accent
Oh, the accent pillow
Accent
thing.
pillow.
Oh, so you have a
So
goose down
it's
throw
just
pillow?
Oh yeah, and it's just there's feathers everywhere,
Oh.
and I'm just like, and of course, I come around the corner and it's like she's like,
Right. Was it me?
yeah, no, her
go,
ears are, and she's like,
And she slinks away.
totally, and I had to catch her because
Right.
I'm so pissed off. I was like, I'm chasing her all over the house, and she won't come to me.
Get your gun out.
Finally, no, I finally grabbed her and I threw her outside and I put the doggy door down and she was just like
How far did you launch her?
devastated. Oh no, I just dropped her outside. It wasn't
Oh.
like I didn't throw her.
Shot
But I-
put.
Then I dropped the doggy door, right, and she immediately tried to go in, come back in, and-
Headbutting it.
oh yeah, headbutting it and clawing and barking and then I stood by the window and just stared at her. And she didn't know I was there for a while. And then we made eye contact and she was like, and she slinked away and started barking at me like I'm some crazy person or something.
Right.
Oh, that dog! I swear.
That's why you don't get puppies.
She's tearing up our house, man.
This is something new. She didn't do this when you first got her.
Well, no, she's torn up a couple things. But, I don't know. I get the whole, when you're training a dog, I get the give it a treat when it's doing a good thing. How do you give it a treat to not do a bad thing? You know what I mean? I'm not the dog whisperer here, so.
The only way you can do it is you got to catch them doing it. And when they're doing it, you got to have a consistent, that's why you make fun of me. But I look, I'm not the dog whisperer either, but I have watched a ton of his shows. And he's consistent with whatever authority he's dropping on him. So if he doesn't want a dog in the kitchen, for example, he uses one word and one word only.
Right.
Out.
Right.
An out kitchen.
Yeah, but you're supposed to reward them. So if you say out,
No, you don't.
and then they leave, you're like, good girl, and you give them a treat?
No, it's supposed to. I guess originally it is to do that, but my point is it's consistency. So you're asking the question: how do you get them? How do you start training them to not do certain things?
Because
And,
dogs they are driven
Yep.
by treats.
Yep,
You're
they're driven
supposed
by
to
treats.
train with treats.
Yeah. So when you say out, maybe y'all give them a little tiny, a little kibble bee. I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah. No, exactly.
But
So-
it's a super small one. That's it. And when they go in the kitchen, you no, out. And when they get out, you here. And then, they could test you. So I don't know. But I'm just.
I don't know either.
I don't have a problem with it because when the dogs come in, I didn't Bronco, for example. I've never hit him. I've chased after him. I wanted to, but he's fast. So he's really fast. But when he goes in the kitchen, I don't want him in there. I go, that is my thing. And when it's to a point now, anytime I go, that little noise like the dog whisperer makes,
he takes out.
all the dogs stop whatever it is they're doing.
Right.
And they assess what's going on.
Right.
And they're like, what am I doing that I need to stop doing?
Right.
Because it's a uniform thing. And then I usually direct them after that, and I'm out. And they'll usually do it. Now, Bronco, sometimes he's like, yeah, Dad, you say that all the time. But you just got to reiterate, do it again and again. So I don't know.
And then you throw meat
positive
on the
reinforcement.
ground in the kitchen.
No, well,
Right. And to test them.
Right.
and they don't get it until I tell them to get it. And that's perfect. It's not, it may be a little bit torturous. I don't know, but what it does is
I don't think so.
it's just like, hey man, look, they'll get that when I tell them to get it, and he'll sit there and wait patiently.
Wow.
And then sometimes I don't like it when he stares at me waiting too long. So I'm like, dude, go outside, because he's just like, dude, I know you're gonna throw me part of that apple. And every time I grab an apple, I usually give it to him half of it,
like the core?
Yeah,
And he eats the core of the apple, huh?
Yeah.
I guess.
But
so.
doesn't that cyanide?
On the seeds, if
I
you
don't-
eat too many of them, yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
you're trying to kill your dog.
whatever, man.
Apple
I don't
seeds,
give
yeah.
the dog a fucking bushel of seeds. I give him an apple.
Have you ever bitten into apple seed?
No.
I have.
Did it hurt?
It's a little bitter.
It's bitter.
Yeah.
Just like
Bitter?
any seed,
Well,
right?
it's cyanide.
Oh, is that what it is?
The cyanide's really bitter. Yeah.
So dogs eating odd things is not uncommon event around the household. For many dogs, their mouth and their noses are their universes as they are driven by curiosity to put things in their mouth. They will, so about apple cores. Apple seeds contain a compound called amygdalin.
No.
Which when chewed or digested is converted to hydrogen cyanide.
Amy G. Dalen.
Yeah.
Amy
It's a
G.
name.
Dalen.
It's a name.
Amy G.
So
Dalen.
while cyanide is toxic in general, is not considered a problem at the level in which tiny amount in apple seeds.
Yeah, so you eat 400 apples a day, and you give each core to the dog.
No, it's 200. Right? It says the amount of toxicity required equates to about 200 apples.
So, but you eat 400, right?
Yeah. No.
I bet if you threw down 200 apple cores down there, how many do you think they could get through?
Get once. You can't do it at once.
Just all right. I just made apple pie.
Yeah,
Here are all the
here's a
cores.
box of apple cores, dog. Let's go.
I don't
bet
think
they'd
that's a
get,
big deal.
they wouldn't get anywhere near 200, but
No.
I bet they get down 10
That's gross.
or more.
Well, I find that your dogs appreciate consistency.
Oh, sure.
You know, and it's to the point where I don't have to yell a command at the dogs. Get out, get out. You don't have to do any of that.
Right, just make a noise.
You just say out.
Right.
They don't. If you by you yelling at it doesn't do anything except
Make
create
you
that
angry.
tension.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
You're not there to create tension. You want to make a command. Just like get out, sit down, eat.
See, and
get
I
it.
get all that. My struggle
peanut butter off
is
my balls.
Yep.
Ooh.
Oh,
Does your crack horse still listen to you?
Crack horror?
what?
Yeah,
Just
Oh,
happened?
the little one.
The little one that looks
Oh,
like a crack.
the
That's
walking cemetery.
That is the
Pet
saddest.
cemetery.
That's the saddest thing ever.
Poor Ginger. She's like 15, 16 years old. She is a multi-poo, and she's got like 2 nut eyes.
She's
missing
completely
90% of her
man.
teeth.
She's completely a pet cemetery.
She's freaking can't hear, can't see. You know, she kind of. I walk around the corner and she's staring like at a pot plant or the pot of. You know, she's like staring at something. You know,
like,
and
she's, like, totally out of it.
yeah, just an inanimate object. She's looking at it like it's the fucking TV or something. And I'm just like, what the fuck is she doing? you know,
i.e. crack whore.
yeah, like she's looking out the window or something. But instead of looking out the window, she's staring into the abyss of a plant. You know,
Right. Well,
God, that's so sad.
she's 16. How old is that in human year?
oh,
That's a shitload.
yeah,
I
that's,
can't do that math.
That's a
Math is
100.
Really? Look at you, mathlete.
102, I think.
16 times 7? What is that?
112.
112. That's close.
112 years old. That's elderly abuse.
Well, what
Just like
what
Biden.
upsets me
That's
is when
elderly
I come
abuse.
over, is Ginger will come out. I try to pet her, but Bronco, he's like, "You need to pet me," and it's like a tornado, and Ginger gets caught up in all of that, and
just
she
get
gets pounded on.
Yeah,
and-
just getting knocked on her ass.
And she's like, fuck it.
But how does a 116-year-old dog survive that? I mean, you would hear like crack, snapple, pop, crack, and just fall apart.
Yeah,
Well, I'll
she
tell you
does.
what, though, she does survive, and she's not passive either. I mean, she's a lot more passive nowadays, but she can stand up for herself. When she gets mad at something, she'll let you know.
Like
And
the
she'll-
pot? When she gets mad at the pot?
She'll get mad at Bronco and Nari, the other dog.
Yeah,
you know,
Napoleon.
She'll like tell him what the fuck's going on. Get the fuck off me! Get the fuck off me!
They listen to her.
Yeah, they do.
Get up. All right.
Because when here's the thing,
The
when,
old
when
great lady's
Ginger,
mad.
when Ginger starts to make those noises, and I know what they sound like, I get up immediately. So she knows that. So when she starts making her noise, I get up immediately, and she's like, "See,"
Right, you admonish the other dog.
and then she does. She like stops, and she's like, "See," and I'm like, she does know what she's doing. She's a smart little shit.
Yeah.
God, it is painful, though.
And she just kind of bounces around because I don't think she can bend her legs anymore.
Her legs are just it's. I don't even
No
know.
disrespect, but I look away every time I see her. I'm like, oh, I can't watch this.
It's
I can't watch this train wreck.
And she can still make it out the doggy door and everything.
she does, she can, and I'm a piece of shit because I keep telling myself I need to make a little step for her to
Little
step up
ramp.
into that, and I never do it. And it's like, oh, I need to do that this weekend, and then when it comes time, we're off to the gallivanting around distilleries and doing this and that. Hey, let's do this, let's do that.
And meanwhile, the dog's walking into the wall right underneath.
No,
the-
she can do it, man. It may be good for her. I get up every now and then. There's a poodle doodle out in front of the dog door, or there's a little urine patch. We keep a lot of dog mats right by the dog door
because she
nowadays.
can't get out the dog door.
Well, it's argumentative because I'm not there. I can't see it. But my daughter's dog has a habit of being lazy. At least she's not pooping or peeing upstairs. But what she'll do, she'll come downstairs and she'll be like, I ain't going outside. And she'll just
It's hot.
drop trowel right where she's at.
That's
down there.
not cool.
Yeah.
But there's no way to prove it.
Set up a camera.
Yeah,
Right there on the
I
doggy
could do
door.
that.
The issue I'm having is that when on Tuesdays and Fridays is when the sprinkler systems run, right? Early morning. And then they get ready to, they wake up and they're ready to go pee.
No, because the sprinkler wakes them up?
No, they pee every morning, right?
Right.
That's a normal thing. But they poke their head out the doggy door and they're like, oh, it's wet.
I don't want wet on my cooch.
Exactly. And so the puppy peed on the carpet. I was like, no, we already solved that problem.
Well, why
Right.
don't you turn the sprinklers on earlier?
What times it go on?
Like, from like 3 to 6, I don't know.
Yeah, the mine comes on really
Oh,
early
my
like that.
God.
Yeah.
I think mine come
What's
on
wrong
like
with
at
that?
3 or
3
4.
hours?
Well, it runs through 3 different cycles. You're supposed to let it soak in and then do another one and then let it soak in, do another one.
Yeah, it takes a long time.
Yeah. It runs for 18 hours.
All right, so I don't know about dudes like
This
us
is
out there
constant.
that
And I get about
I've
3.5
got
feet of water per square inch.
full-blown irrigation system in my front and back. Granted, 2 months ago, the irrigation line exploded and water came out under. Austin came home and was like, "Dad, there's water running down the front stairs." And I'm like, "Oh, great!" I thought it was
Inside the house?
it was outside, but it's like when you open up the front door.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was
Okay.
water was like it was coming out in like.
Yeah, it broke a sprinkler head.
It's not a broken sprinkler head because I had a
Line, the
it's,
line,
It's
yeah.
the line. It's a valve. So that's going to take some research, and I'm not looking forward to that. But even if I didn't do that, my point is that I don't ever water my yard, ever.
Yeah.
I don't ever water my
Like
yard.
you have like the
We noticed.
the Congo bush out in the backyard.
Oh, it's a goat trail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's disgusting out there, and the
Don't you have an HOA? Weren't you the president
Look
of
at
the
the back.
HOA?
No one can see
I'm not
it.
the president of our HOA.
Did
anymore,
you take a
thank God.
picture of
Chuck,
your yard and
that's you
send
now.
yourself a letter?
No, well, the front yard looks fine. It's the backyard looks like a goat trail, but it's all these grand thoughts and plans that I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be doing that, and so Tara wants to put some turf back there, and we're going to be doing this. So we just put shit on the back burner, and I was going to put some sod back there, and I'm like, fuck, man, I'm not doing that. It's hot outside, and then when am I going to do it?
Is
You
that
know,
when
so-
it got to 75?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of moving parts. We got 3 fucking dogs in the house, and it's just like if I start tilling back there, it's going to be a mud fest.
Right.
And then I got to, it's just, and I don't mind doing the work. The work's not the problem. The problem is I have these 3 dogs that got to manage during that time because they can't go outside during that process.
Right.
Well,
So
then
where are
you
they going to go shit and pee?
Yeah, the kids walk them constantly.
there you go.
Whatever, dude. That is not happening.
You have built-in dog walkers.
I can't get
in the
those
house.
motherfuckers to empty the garbage. Okay.
Right.
Do me a favor. Why don't you fucking pick up a spoon and wash it or something? I purposely bought. I don't know if dudes like us do this out there, but I purposely bought a bunch of like paper plates, paper bowls, and plastics to silverware.
So they can
utensils.
throw the shit away,
So you can go right in the garbage can. And I went
which
through.
is totally Earth first.
I don't give a fuck about Earth First, man.
It's all styrofoam.
Shit out of here, man.
Yeah, that's more shit to burn.
They just leave them around. They don't even throw them away.
It's just they're getting better
we
and
don't
better.
Eat on paper. We
It's-
don't eat
it's
on
just-
China.
It's just I complain, but it's kind of like this. I mean, I was talking to Austin about that. He just brought up a fact about he necessarily was going to do it, but he said, hey, I was invited. I could go to college in a different state with some of my friends that are going to go there, and I was just like, well, if you want to move, that's one thing. I would recommend that you stay here and finish your college and focus on school because that's the prime directive right now. I don't think you're, but at the end of the day, it's his life. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
He's an adult now.
Yeah, he's a grown
he can
ass
do whatever
man.
he wants. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. I'm kind of selfish about this because some of the kids, your kids get an opportunity. They leave state, they go to college. Mine move all back in. And Preston, he's still in college. It's just like I want to move out, but I don't. But more and more, I want him to now.
Now, once they move out, it's glorious. You're just like, this is nice because when they come back, it's an adjustment back.
Right.
You get used to being by yourself. It's like, this is great.
Right.
And then the next thing you know, they're back. It's different.
You can unload the dishwasher naked.
You can.
And you can load the dishwasher naked.
You can.
And you can heat up your food in the microwave naked.
I don't like to think about my bourbon glasses being washed by Jeff naked.
It's usually Julie.
I don't even. That's unacceptable.
Naked adults touching our glasses, I think, is what we're struggling
I don't
with.
cram my junk down into the Glencairn.
God, that's not even what we said.
That's what
Now
Shell
you
was hinting
just
at.
made it worse.
Yeah, you did.
You cram
Just
your
imagine
that
all
was
down in
possible.
there,
Hold
just
on,
kind of
you-
all smashed
you cram
in
your
there.
junk down into the Glencairn.
How could you get your nuts? It's like putting it in a cock ring. You have to really work at it.
Yeah, you have to kind of work at the sides.
You work it.
Yeah, but what if you broke the Glencairn glass and now you got a ball
I'm just trying to understand this. You're standing in the kitchen working your junk into the Glencairn. How long does that take?
Oh,
Let's move on.
yeah, that's pretty well. I'm not gonna
So
analyze
the
this.
kids are, we're not. I'm not an empty nester. You're an empty nester, and I'm super happy. And I can't. I'd love to be an empty nester, but it comes with a lot of different things. I mean, like. Meaning that I travel, and Tara, some dudes I guess may have wives out there that have agoraphobia. I don't know. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But it's kind of a benefit that there's someone at the house to...
Right. Meaning you're able to go places because she's not alone.
Correct.
She has a
Now-
sister right across the street.
That's
Well,
true.
Yeah, but
oh gosh, that's very true.
yeah, but there's just my job requires me to travel.
Well,
a couple
yeah, but
times
that's
a
not,
year.
you don't want your kids with you the rest of your life because
I do not. I want them to be successful and
That's
happy,
right.
and they're not going to be successful and happy living in the house. They really aren't because they want their individualism.
Right.
I mean, that poor Emily, she's going through that right now. She's absolutely fucking miserable being at the house, living in there.
Yeah, usually that takes care of itself. Like that.
Well, she's
like
working
that.
on it. She's working on it.
They become grown ass adults, and they want their space, and they want their own. They want to run their house the way they want to,
Correct.
or their apartment, or their something, and it takes care of itself. But sometimes it doesn't, and they're like totally fine being taken care of and not having responsibilities or whatever,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not saying that's your kids, but I mean that's the story that
I don't.
oh, they live in their
But
you
I
know,
don't.
their
I don't
parents'
mind them
parents'
staying at the
basement,
house,
right?
As long as
And they get waited on
if
like
they
Will Ferrell.
participated in some of the chores, if they took care of shit, it's just like I spent X amount of dollars a month having my yard done.
Right.
I mean, for what I spend a month, I could buy a lawnmower and a weed eater and do it all myself.
Right.
But personally, I'm not doing that. I'm not fucking going out there and cut my grass. I can't stand the heat, let alone out there doing shit in it. Fuck all that.
That's crazy.
he'd be out there with his little Crocs and black knee socks and shorts.
Well, that's part of the problem. You're overheating because of those socks.
No, I wouldn't be doing it, period. So that's just all there is. In fact, that's why I want to cultivate my backyard. Again, when the kids move out, the dogs are going to disappear. Ginger's on her tail end out. Nori's not mine.
Ginger may last another 20 years.
Probably with my luck. The cat's gone now. Ginger's on the fence. Bronco belongs to Preston. So when Preston comes back, he may go with him on an out. I don't know yet. But Nori's gone. So my point driving at is that I won't have to worry about the backyard. I'm hoping to actually extend my house out a little bit. Like the patio, I'm going to push out a little bit more, and I'll build a deck up top, and I'm going to push that bedroom. I'm going to enclose the top and push it out a little bit more.
That sounds like an ambitious project.
It is. It's going to happen. It's
Nice.
basically, where the garage is at?
Yeah.
So the garage is basically, it's going to come straight into it's going to be one rectangle.
So
Right
you're
now
not
it's
gonna have much
L-shaped.
backyard though.
I don't care.
All right.
I don't care. I mean,
and are you going to get contractors for that? Are you going to try to do it yourself? Or?
I'm going to get subcontractors to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll have someone go out there and pour the concrete, and I'll have someone go out there and do some framing and build the roof up a little bit and extend it out. And because once that's done, then I can kind of slow it down a little bit. But I'm not going to. I'm going balls to the wall when this goes on. So
That's nice. I have a friend who flips houses, and I always asked him, like, what do you do to make it more marketable, or do you only buy houses that are marketable, like as is? He's like, oh no. I mean they'll size it up and they'll go, it needs another bedroom.
Right.
Like no big deal. They buy it for, they get a good deal on it, and then they look at the house and they're like, it needs another, if it had one more bath and one more bedroom, it would hit the sweet spot in terms of being able to turn quickly.
Right.
And they have these crews that they know, right? And they come in and bam, 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 and they do it, and it might take a couple months, and then they, put it right back on the market, and bam, they make $100,000.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck?
It takes money to make money, though, man.
I get it, but
You can take loans out.
that's what people do.
There's a
That's what
system
people
too.
do.
You take loans out.
There's a system where you do take a loan out, but the thing is that you do. I don't know all the magic to it, but there's a window of opportunity. So you have like 90 days or 100. You have like 90 days, and you don't have to move any money technically.
That's right.
So if you
It's
basically
you never use your money.
so yeah,
You use
so
the bank's money.
You basically you get the hypothetical loan, and then you do all the work, and there's a clock ticking. So you want to get everything done. I've already got a master plan. If I ever want to start flipping houses, and I'll tell the secret to those people out there right now, if the dudes like us listeners, if you want to make profitable money flipping houses, you got to expand the square footage of the house. Period. So if you've got a
Depending on, like, there's a lot of homes out there that are like 1,800 square feet. You're talking about the homes that.
So I'm talking about picking a home,
Right.
picking a house
Right.
in a community, and you got to cherry pick. You got to look for the correct floor plan because the community yields a certain price per square footage.
Right.
So what you want to do is you want to increase the square footage of that house. You purchase the house at this cost per square footage. You increase the square footage by 20%. All right. So what that usually means is you buy like an L-shaped house, and then you make it a rectangle. And that new rectangle is now the master bedroom. This is a template.
Right.
This is a standardized template.
No, I hear you.
And because most of the houses that were built in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever, they don't have a huge, fantastical master bedroom.
Right.
They got a room and sometimes a bathroom. So what you do is you make a huge-ass, badass master bedroom with
Right.
a master bathroom and a large walk-in closet.
In a
and
sitting room.
Whatever. But that, it,
With
you add that.
the windows in the front. What do you call those? Not vaulted. Those bay windows.
Bay windows. I got a
Yeah.
bay
Yeah.
window downstairs.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
you
look
got
at
to
you.
think of. So I'm talking about square footage. I'm talking about adding square footage to the house. You
Yes.
add a bathroom. You add a master bedroom, and that's basically
And
it.
you're right. There is a formula. There's like
that's
a
it.
template. Yeah. There's.
But you don't want to add all the bay windows because the concept is, I mean, if it's conducive, it is. And if you got to replace the windows anyways, yeah, sure.
no, it's
but-
really just add a room and a bathroom.
Yeah, you
type of
just
thing.
add that because that's going to sell all by itself. Now you've increased the value of that house by 20% because you've added 20% to the square footage, and then you upgrade everything. Now, mind you, when I say upgrade, you're replacing like receptacles. You're taking surface mount fixtures and putting recessed can lights.
Right.
And that's really little tiny
Simple
things
stuff.
like that. Simple things that take like they're nothing to do.
Couple grand.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Sometimes you got to run some new wire up there, but it's really, really, really easy, especially for someone that knows what they're doing.
Exactly. Well,
know?
that's the thing. You build these partnerships with teams, subcontracting teams, and that's their thing, and they knock this shit out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because whenever people are selling their houses, they say, don't invest too much into it. You're not going to get that out. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's in the context of people selling their own house. Like, don't go through all the work to do that because you're not going to get it back. But then again, when you hear the stories what you just told, and the stories about people flipping houses and they're spending $50,000 or $20,000, and they're turning around and selling it for $140,000 more than what they bought it for.
No. Well,
then
I mean,
it's fucking no-brainer.
yeah, that is a no-brainer. But there's one of the biggest mistakes that they make is going in blind. First of all, thinking like you're a weekend warrior, you can knock it out because
Oh no,
it's
Mm-mm.
you.
No, it takes
you have
months.
to have
It takes months.
you have to know what you're doing. There's code compliance. You gotta dig in deep to the where you're at. Because if you do something to the house,
You mean like
Code-
like screw it up?
if you do something, if you upgrade a section of the house, code compliance may go in there and be like, "Hey, good job. Now do the rest of it."
Right.
Yeah, you just changed the back windows of that area. You just added to double paned glasses, insulated.
But aren't you expecting your subcontracting team to know that kind of stuff? And your what do you call it? The general contractor.
So yes and no.
The general contractor should know that.
That's the problem. You're not supposed to have a general contractor to make money. You need to be the general contractor. Okay?
That's right.
Because if you're paying a general contractor, you're automatically
losing a lot of money.
Losing. There's your 20% right there. Boom, gone. Overhead and profit.
No, that's a good point.
So you want to be your own general contractor and subcontract everything, but you still got to have the people out there to do it. But you got to know what you want. So when you're going out there and you're shopping for different houses, you got to do your research. You got to know what type of house to get, and you got to walk in there and you got to say, well, if I look at a plug and I notice that plug doesn't have a ground and it just has the 2 prongs,
yeah,
I'm not buying that house.
So
you need a
with
full upgrade.
all of your construction experience and the superior intellect that Jeff and I have,
Correct.
why have we not just done one flip house to see how it goes?
Risk. Are we risk adverse?
Yeah. Well,
If it doesn't flip, what happens?
We all die.
Well,
we
have a new
get gunned
podcast.
down by.
I think it's risk. There's people out there who are willing to roll the dice and risk it.
What's the worst case scenario?
Well, you buy a house for $200,000.
Okay.
We're on the hook for $200,000 plus whatever money we have until it sells.
So what about? I mean, what are the odds that you can't sell it for exactly what you bought it for and just not make a penny? And be like, fuck, we spent a lot of time on this and blah, blah, blah.
So that's where...
And so we invested, maybe we
impossible.
invested $10,000 or $15,000 in it, but we didn't make anything.
Well, that's where you do your math up front. You do the research up front. So you find out it's like this community we live in now. The houses go for X amount of dollars.
Right.
Or they're within a range.
Sure.
So you make sure that you buy your house at the low end of that range. Period. And if you can't buy that house at the price that you want it for,
don't do it.
Leave it fucking alone. Now's not a good time to be flipping houses, I'm thinking.
No. Not with the rates.
Not here, not around here, but there's always areas in the Metroplex and around the country or whatever where it is.
All right, look,
I think you have to hit a niche to where it's an affordable house for especially like the young folks, right? You don't want to get into like $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 homes right now. I think you need to look at the $150,000 to $200,000 homes.
Okay.
What they consider starter homes at this point.
Okay,
right?
so you buy it for $120,000, you put $35,000 into it to make it, something, and then you sell it for $210,000. Boom. You just made. I'm not a mathlete.
To add a
I didn't.
More than $35,000.
I'm not a mathlete, but you just made $40,000.
You say $35,000?
Well, he did.
That seems to be fair. I think it's a little high.
Yeah, you buy it for $120,000, you put $35,000 into it. What is that? $155,000. You sell it for $210,000. Bam. I mean, that just bought us upgraded mics, a new soundboard. That bought us like
you're not gonna
like us T-shirts.
I'm not going to argue with you. If we had an opportunity, I would absolutely do it. I mean, I love doing construction. The only reason I got out of construction was because the wife was pressuring me to get something stable that I was getting a paycheck every week.
I hear you.
And that's just it. When you are living a contractor's lifestyle like that,
it's gig to gig.
It is gig to gig. But if you're, and it's hard work. Let's not forget that. It's hard work.
Back then, you were carrying, like, what, 4,000 pounds of sheet wall? What do you call that?
It's
drywall?
It's nonstop. It's gypsum
yourself?
board drywall. It's nonstop. It says you develop a core strength. I mean, back then,
Country
oh my
strong.
gosh,
Country
man,
strong.
I was super strong. It's like, man, I was so strong. I kind of shocked myself on some of the shit I could do.
Yeah.
And it's like people would we went to a family function. Excuse me, and they were all arm wrestling, and I refused to arm wrestle.
Because you'll, like, tear somebody's arm off?
Because I know I'd embarrass the shit out of them.
Even now?
Oh no, that ship has sailed. But
Yeah,
I mean,
'cause I was helping you with your beer earlier.
oh yeah, I couldn't even pick it.
He trumped just stapling something.
yeah,
earlier.
he was like, oh God, this is so cold. I would love this. I was like, let me help you.
I was like, Paul, I can't even
I can't
pick
lift it. I can't lift it to my
I
lips.
can't even pick my penis up to go to the bathroom. Can
Oh,
you grab that for me?
really?
God.
Really?
What?
And I did not help you with that. I can promise that.
Oh. Yeah. Well, anyways, but the point is
By the
that
way, it probably
let's just
wouldn't
say
have taken much.
we were to change gears and like totally drop our jobs and go do this.
Let's do it.
I would do it. I would absolutely
No, you
do it.
wouldn't. You have a good job right now, and you're on a good trajectory.
You know,
Tra-
at the end of the day, it's about being happy.
I know.
And I was sincerely happy doing construction because I know tons about it and I'm good at it.
Yeah.
And
you can still do it on the side.
you know, but no, I can't do the current job that I have
No, it's too,
and do that on the
too
side.
time consuming.
Yeah, this job requires a lot of bandwidth for me, but you know, I would love to be able to. Let's say if I were to get fired or let go or economy were to change, whatever, and I wasn't working there, yes, I would absolutely. That's the first thing I do because that's
and
my
you can,
go-to.
and that's beautiful for you because you can slide right back into that. And construction is always there, residential and commercial. That stuff's always there. Not like my job or your and your job.
And construction is
We're in
construction,
IT,
right?
I mean, it's just not like that. I don't know.
Man,
I don't
it's
know.
tough for some folks out there, you know, not having or I should say like this, to have a job that's unaffected by
Recession.
That's recession proof is
Yep.
is
So I
There
call
are
it.
some-
I call it two things.
There are some out there if you can. lucky
There
to
are.
find them.
So I call it two things. There's
Zookeeper?
recession resistant,
zookeeper.
right? Zookeeper is recession proof.
Yeah.
100%.
A
No,
veterinarian.
there. I call it recession resistant and recession proof. Two categories that one recession resistant is everybody needs it, but
Porn stars.
they could probably scale back a little bit, maybe not totally.
Right.
Recession proof is got to have it to run a business. Sorry,
Yeah.
I think like nurses and stuff. I think are recession proof.
you would think so,
I would hope.
but
right?
people just choose not to be sick in a recession, don't they?
Yeah.
I
They just
don't know.
die.
Someone's always gonna be sick.
Oh yeah, good point.
Well, fun topics, man. This bourbon. Plus, we did a little sample of Dalton before we even started the podcast.
That was a
tonight.
bonus.
Bill Dalton, yes.
All right, it's a September 12th. It's the first half of our podcast tonight. Fun-filled stuff coming on the second half. Oh my God, we're overflowing with topics. I'm gyrating.
He's got a boner.
Can
I don't
you
have
show
a
me? Can you show me the list of topics?
Oh, it's out on the piece of paper over there in the green
Oh.
room. It's in
In
the
the
green
green
room
room,
next to
yes.
the bourbons.
Fantastic! I can't wait to see
All
it.
right. Thank you, Mr. Austin. We'll see you in the second half, guys. We're going to take a break. Dudes like us, I'm Sean.
I'm Paul.
And I am Jeff.